Mr. Top Flight Films. I'm checking in live from Martinsburg, West Virginia. Got finished a shoot earlier. I'm waiting for my next shoot. I got a little bit of time, so I wanted to come and drop off this story slash experience. Um, and you see the title. The title is The Event That Made Me a Non-Believer in Religion. And I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna break it down. I don't mean any harm or any offense to anybody who is a believer. I know I had a lot of heat coming from me yesterday when I saw the video of the pastor demanding $40,000, and I vowed to go in on the black church and Christians, and that's just not what I want to do. It may happen, I don't know, but I wanted to break down and just tell my story, man, why I left religion alone. Why I don't deal with um, any religion. And I want to talk about the event or the thing that made me say, this it can't be real. Uh, and we're gonna get into it. But y'all hit the like button, man. If you watching the playback, leave a comment, tell me your experience, cuss me out, whatever you want to do. But I was brought up Christian, okay, if you will. And I can't say I was really brought up Christian. My mother went to church. She took us to church sometimes. And I know my mother might watch this, you know what I'm saying? But love you, Ma. You already know we've had these conversations. So I can't really say that I was a practicing Christian. I did believe in that doctrine on the surface. Deep down inside, I can't say I was a believer. I always had questions, and I will always ask those questions. And you know what I was told? Y'all know what I was told. Don't question God, right? That's what we were told. So it was a lot of things that I had questions about, man. It just didn't make sense to me. A lot of shit just didn't make sense, right? So as I, you know, went through my teenage years, 20s, I got into a lot of trouble, got into a lot of turmoil. I was in a lot of turmoil, uh, inner turmoil. And as I was going through my phases, I kind of used God as a crutch to get me out of serious jams, you dig, to get me out of trouble, to get me out of depression and despair, right? So I was using this God. I was using this religion. And I meant well, you dig, because that's what we're taught. We're taught to believe in these things. And we're told if we don't believe in these things, guess where you gonna go? You going to hell. So, of course, there was a little bit of fear of going to hell, okay? Uh, and as time went on, I got into recovery. A lot of people know I'm a recovery addict. Been clean 21 years. So when I got into recovery, I absolutely clung to a religion because I wanted to change, right? So what I did was I utilized everything at my disposal to change who I was and stay on the right path. So I was in the halfway house, you dig, and I was reading certain literature and I was trying to get closer to a God, and it served its purpose. You understand? Religion served its purpose for me at that moment. I had a belief system. And what I understood, right, what I understand today is religion is a belief system. In black households, it is very uncommon for people not to believe in Jesus. Very uncommon. You can fuck around getting into a fight with black folks if you tell them that you don't believe. If you tell black people you don't believe in Jesus, they will think that you worship Satan. They will really, you can literally, some people will try to attack you, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's how certain, and I'm gonna talk about where it comes from and the reason why that is. It comes from slavery. We're gonna get into all that. But anyway, so as I was growing up in my 20s and I was getting clean and I was, I was trying to recover, be in recovery, I utilized religion real heavy. And I didn't go to church a whole lot. I probably went to church 3, 4 times in like 10 years. But I always prayed to Jesus. I always prayed to God and Jesus, whoever the hell I was supposed to pray to. I don't even know. Most people don't even know who is who or what's what. You know what I'm saying? But 2008, this is the event that led up to me saying, fuck that shit. This is the event right here. Trayvon Martin, man, right? Little brother Trayvon Martin. Now listen, I was 28. I'm living my life. You know what I mean? Young. I don't got too much to worry about. But this case, I saw this case where Trayvon Martin was walking home from the convenience store, and George Zimmerman, he murdered him, right? And I started following the case real heavy. Because one reason, Trayvon and me resemble each other. When I was a kid, when I was young, it was some resemblance there. It's like I was looking at myself. When I seen pictures of Trayvon, it was like me looking at my younger self. So it really fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm following the case, and I just knew George Zimmerman was going to jail because we looked at all the facts, right? We sat around, we looked at all the facts. The kicker was George Zimmerman was not the police. The police actually told him, do not approach. And he approached anyway, right? And he ended up killing him. So that should have been some accountability right there. So anyway, long story short, George Zimmerman walks. And I found myself on MySpace. I think it was in MySpace at the time. It might have been Facebook. I found myself on Facebook arguing with people about why George Zimmerman was guilty. I had black folks, white folks telling me that he was innocent. And I was enraged. You dig? I was super enraged. And I started questioning. Like, man, like, I want you to imagine following this case and seeing what all happened, and then watching this man walk, and then watching people out here in the world justify what he did. So what that was the event that led me to look further into oppression. Because at that very moment, I felt oppressed because I was enraged. Now, let me say this. I've always had a level of knowledge of self, right? When I was a kid, man, me and the young brothers I hung out with, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, we always had a knowledge of self. Back in the 80s, it was cool to have a knowledge of self. Back in the 80s, it wasn't trapping. It wasn't drinking lean. It wasn't toting Glocks with 30 switches. That wasn't trendy. What was trendy was African medallions, Public Enemy, you dig, hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's what was trendy. Education. Back in the day, the music was educational. So you would learn some shit. Like the stuff that you was hearing, it was like telling you about history, telling you about certain things that went on, that go on. And I've dealt with racism at an early age, and I remember getting in trouble. Me and my partners would get in trouble for not standing for the flag. And so I'm not, in 2008, I didn't first, that wasn't my first time feeling that feeling. I felt it many, many times in my life. Uh, but in 2008, right, that's when I said, you know what, man, I really need to start to understand why things are the way they are on a deeper level. So I started looking into the conscious sector of YouTube, and I started looking into the conscious sector uh, of the information I could find online, right? And I started to try to understand because I want to know. And look here, man. If there's some type of God out there, right? Why is it that these things are allowed to happen? Why are these things allowed to happen? Now that's just a little small. I don't want to call his death small, but that's just one situation out of many where we can ask, hey, if there's a God, why does all these bad things happen? And you'll get some of the most craziest answers, right? People are like, what's God's plan? Well, this is how it's designed to be. But I started looking into stuff, and what I came across Ray Hagins. I don't know if y'all familiar with Ray Hagins. Check him out. It's an older guy, black dude. He was an ex-bishop, pastor, bishop. I don't know the rank and file of the church, but he was a bishop at one point, and he left Christianity and started preaching against Christianity, and he started breaking down where it comes from. You understand? So I started peeping game. I'm like, hold up. We've been bamboozled. We've been fooled. We've been hoodwinked. Okay? This dude is telling us when this shit started. He's telling us when Christianity started, right? So if Christianity started at a certain year and we were on the earth way before Christianity started, something's not adding up. So, I definitely, he was definitely one of the major people that that opened my eyes to the falsehood that's out here, right? And I used to watch Cuz like every night, man, because I was thirsty at that point. Once I started really opening my eyes, I'm like, all right, I need more. I need more evidence. I need more evidence before I make this decision. Before I stand on this shit, I need more evidence. And online. We're in the information age, right? So you can go online and you can pretty much find out information on whatever you want to find out information on. So from Ray Hagins, I started really going in on these different platforms, listening to different people. I'm listening to both sides. I'm listening. See, the thing is, when people want to present an argument, they only go research the side that favors their argument. But me, I listen to both sides. I wanted to find out for sure because it's a big deal, especially coming from a loving mother who loves Jesus and loves Christianity. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be 100% sure, man. And not only that, but deep back in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, you'll go to hell. This is instilled in us as kids, dog. This is instilled in us as we're young. They say we're born sinners. So as kids, they tell us you're gonna burn in a fucking lake of hellfire. You're gonna burn in a lake. So I wanted to be 1,000% sure before I made my decision, before I started to venture away from that ideology. So, long story short, some years had passed. I was done with it. I had found and seen and heard what I needed to see. I was watching debate after debate after debate on Sinetta's channel. Yeah, his channel was goofy, but the information is there. Listen, you can decipher information. If you have common sense, you can decipher what's what. You can say, oh, well, that don't sound right. Well, that sounds right. Well, let me see how it sounds. Did it really go down like that? Or let me see what such and such says. And you can come to a consensus, right? You can come to a hypothesis, okay? And when you look at the facts of how this thing was created, It's undeniable. You understand? So that took me to a place that was very dark, right? Because when I left religion, I got angry, I got hateful. I was very hateful. And I was running around being very callous to religious people. I was running around telling religious people like that shit ain't real. I was doing shit like that. And I don't want to be like that. And I don't want to come across like that in this video, right? But shit ain't real, sorry. Uh Whatever. But I was like having conversations with real people, and they'd say something to me. I'm like, no, I don't believe. I don't believe in that shit. It ain't real. My approach is different. I want everybody to do what works for them, man. Um, Throughout it all, the conclusion I came to is it's just a belief system. You understand? And that's what makes me feel good, is understanding that that is just a belief system, and it's okay to have a belief system. There's nothing wrong with having a belief system to help you go through life, to get you through certain situations, get you through the things that life can throw at you. And it's a belief system for older people. They're getting older. They might to transition. So you want some comfort, or you might have a sick relative and you want to comfort them. You want to comfort yourself knowing that they are going into a good place. Cool, I get it. I get it. But I remember in 2008, I think it was around 2008, my man Najee passed. And that was my young boy. And he died a very horrible death. You know what I'm saying? And I remember talking to my mother, and I'm like, Ma, you mean to tell me, because he wasn't Christian. He grew up Muslim, right? So I'm like, dog, and he wasn't a practicing Muslim. I'm like, Ma, you mean to tell me Najee was going to hell? Because he didn't repent. He didn't get saved before he passed. So you mean to tell me my little homie is burning in hell right now? So I had to really, that was a harsh reality, man. Like, I don't believe that shit. I had other people in my life, man, that took their own life and passed away in various different ways. And I'm like, man, you can't tell me all these people is burning in hell right now. People that I love, you dig? So fast forward, man, like today, where I'm at with it today, it's like, if people want to believe in all these different, because there's so many different religions, man, and all these religions tell us that they have the one God that we should serve. You understand? So everybody's going to somebody's hell. You understand? Everybody is going to somebody's hell. That's just what it is, man. Either you're going to go to the hellfire in Islam, or you're going to go to the hellfire as in the Israelite faith. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to go to hell in Christianity. So the Muslims that are living righteously, or the Hebrew Israelites that are living righteously, that don't acknowledge Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, they're going to hell. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Another thing that really strayed me away from it is, I can, say for, let me take a elder. I'm not going to name anybody specific, but an elder family member. Say you got an elder family member in your family, and they live righteously all their life, and they pass away, and they worked hard, they did the right thing. They die, they go to heaven. But you got a child molester that finds Jesus while he's in prison. He repents, he's saved. He's gonna go to that same heaven as your elder. Nah, man, that's another thing that really strayed me away. You can do whatever you want to do out here. It doesn't matter. There's no sin too big. As long as you repent afterwards, you going to heaven. You dig? So at the end of the day, man, for me, I think I grew up spiritually. I matured spiritually. And, in Christianity, they tell you to be childlike. That's what that is. They tell you to be childlike. They want you to be a child, you know what I'm saying? To think as a child and to be a spiritual child. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I just believe some people they can't be spiritual children. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up and I matured in my spirituality, man, and I'm very practical. And yes, I believe in a creator. I believe that somebody created all this, right? I believe that um this shit is too perfect for something not to create it. But this is where I'm at with it. The God, the creator, is so big and so amazing that nobody can tell me who it is. You understand? You don't have the map. You don't have the blueprint of how this shit was made. This shit is too awesome, right? The human body, take the human body for instance. Go look at yourself in the mirror, man. Go look how your eyes blink. Go look at how you can see. Go look at your mouth move. Go look at all the everything about yourself, man. Nobody can tell me that they know who and what and when this was all created. The creator is too big and too powerful for anybody to put it in one book. You understand? So that's where I'm at with it, man. I don't know. I don't, and I respect people that say they don't know. I don't have too much respect for people that say, yeah, I know how this all got to be. I know how this came to be. Uh, no, think about the trees and think about all the animals, dog. Think about that. Who made this shit? Something made this shit. And I'm not arrogant enough to tell you that I know who did it. Because nobody was here. Nobody was here when all this shit was made. Nobody knows for a fact. Nobody, even your preacher, because your preacher knows all this. Your pastor knows all this shit. And your pastor knows that this is a belief system. You understand? Your pastor knows that this is a belief system. He knows it's not fact, right? So I do believe in a creator. I do pray, but I don't pray the way I prayed when I was praying to Jesus in the Christianity faith. I pray different. I just do a lot of thinking. I'll thank the creator. Because why am I asking for shit? What would I ask for something for? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to look at it like this, right? Go, look at your neighbor, right? Your neighbor just got a brand new car and they praising God, right? And then next door, right? Your neighbor, 2 houses down, it can be somebody in there suffering. You understand? So what makes God bless this person more than he blessed the next neighbor? You understand? So at some point you got to hold your God accountable, because if he bless you with a new car, but the little boy next door is getting touched by his father, right, or his grandfather or his uncle, you dig? Like, think about that, man. Why isn't this loving God stepping in and stopping this shit? Think about all the suffering that's going on today, all the bombings that's going on today. Think about the wars that are going on. I don't know too much about the Palestinian thing and the Gaza and all that, but it's a lot of people suffering and dying over there, right? Where is their God? Where is any of these gods? Where are they at? And why are they letting this shit go on? Why would they let these things go on, man? At some point, you would think enough would be enough, right? Enough will be enough. So, again, man, I believe in a creator. I'm not that arrogant to think that I'm responsible for all this. I remember one time, right? Let me tell you, man. Let me tell you this real quick, right? I remember one time when I finally made my decision. I called my mother, and when we got to talking, and somehow religion came up, and I told my mother I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it no more. And she hung up on me, dog. My mother slam up on me, and it wasn't one of them hang up call back. Like, she hung up, and she wasn't trying to hear it. And I believe it's really out of fear. I think it's a fear thing. You know what I'm saying? I think she was really scared for my well-being, and she was scared for the future. You understand? Which is understandable. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But like I said, man, I did my homework. I did a lot of research. What's up? What you need? I don't got it, homie. Thank you, but I don't got it, homie. Creeping, cuz creeping up on me like that, man. Yeah, but again, I don't want to. I'm not here to discourage or disparage anybody that believes in whatever you believe in. You know what I'm saying? As long as it make you happy, cool. Just don't come. Look here. The problem comes in that when you come telling me what's real and what's not real, because then we're gonna have a nice debate. I love debating religion. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite things to do. You know what I mean? So I don't talk to nobody about their religion because that's their belief, and we live what we believe. You dig? So I just need to get it off my chest, man, and hopefully it'll help somebody. Um, I'm not trying to deter people away from religion or whatever. It's just my experience. It's just what I've lived and you know what I've went through. You know what I'm saying, and where I'm at with it. You know, it was a certain point where I had to look myself in the mirror. Right, this the kicker right here. This is the part that makes me feel good about my decision. It's a lot of people I grew up with, right? They probably sitting right now with a fifth, talking about that God got them. You know what I'm saying? God got their back, and one day everything is gonna be all right. It came a point in time in my life where I had to go walk and look in the mirror, man, and I had to say, nobody's coming to save you, dog. You gotta get up and you gotta go do this. And my life changed that day, dog. Like really, really, my life really changed. I stopped waiting for um I stopped waiting for a man in the sky to come give me a better life. And I started working towards creating my own heaven right here on earth. I told people 6, 7 years ago, I said, look, I told my girl, I said, look, I want to create my own heaven on earth. Because heaven and hell are a place, it's not a place. It's a feeling, it's a state of being. I'm gonna have my heaven or my hell right here on earth. I seen a y'all know Big Boogie, right? The rapper Big Boogie. His sister's boyfriend just unalived her, right? Go look up Big Boogie's sister. Check this out. I want to tell you an example of hell. Big Boogie's sister's boyfriend was running from the police, right? The police got behind him. He tried to do the dash. He flipped the car. The girlfriend, Big Boogie's sister, she got ejected from the car, died. He's in the back seat of the police car. I'm talking about, I'm not even crying, like yelling, like, ah, non-stop, like uncontrollable, ah, like I don't even know the word for it. That's hell right there. That is hell right there. That's a state of being, a state of despair, a state of pain, a state of sadness, anger, fear, like all these negative emotions. That's what that is. So for me, hell was not a place that you go to when you die. Hell was something that you experience right here on earth if you make the wrong decisions. Cherokee Janae says, peace, top flight. Yes, something created life in the universe, but it's definitely not a blonde haired, blue eyes, mythical character. Religion was created by from the minds of humans and men. Absolutely. That's what I meant to touch on. How we got to this state of being, how black people got so indoctrinated. We are the most religious people dog. Like we really, really do religion. Like a lot of people don't really believe in that shit. A lot of other cultures, they don't take that shit as serious as we take it. I told you when I told my mother I don't believe in it, she hung up on me. You dig? Um, I told my man Greg, rest in peace, my man Greg. Me and my man Greg was in Denny's. This is all around the same time. He came up to where I live at and visited me, man. And I told him, and he was pissed. He was ready to fight, man. I mean, not really fight me, but he was really ready to stop being my friend. You know what I'm saying? But how we got there, they whooped that shit into us. They beat it into us, dog. They beat that religion into us. That's not our religion. That's not a part of our culture. And that's what Ray Hagins broke down. That's Greco-Roman culture, dog. Like, why the hell, as a black man, am I running around here reading a book talking about thou, shall, and thus and thrice? And why, dog? That has nothing to do with our culture. That has nothing to do with our culture, dog. That was like, it was so many things stacked on top of another. Like, hold up, cuz, like, what? Like, yeah, we have DNA from Africa, that, lineage from Africa and America, right? But who in Africa was named Peter, Paul, John? Who in Africa was named Peter, Paul, and John, and Mary? If Africa is the first civilization, or the first place where everybody came from Africa, who in the fuck in Africa has these names? You dig? Who? Yeah, nature. That's what let me tell you something. Today, man, nature, it means so much to me, man, because it's about natural, dog. It's about sun, water, forest. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real shit. I don't have to read a book about that. I can walk into the woods, or I can drive down a back street, a dirt road, and feel right, a higher power, a power greater than me, and it's calm. It's not telling me I'm gonna go to hell, dog. It's not telling me to put money in the basket. It's not telling me it needs $40,000 before we leave the building today. You dig? It's free. It's free. And it's amazing. If you look at the sun, if you look at how nature works, if you look at how plants are grown, this shit is amazing, man. You understand? So I'm very practical, man. And, I believe, I have to see it to believe it. You know what I'm saying? They try to make it seem like that's a bad thing. Again, I'm not knocking nobody that is religious. I'm just speaking for myself. My son plays basketball, and when they go to the game, right, they have to pray. It was a point in time I probably wouldn't have let him do it, but I like the fact that he gets to pray, to have some spirituality. So it's not too much about the doctrine at this point with him. It's really about, he gets to bow his head and he gets to hear some life being spoken into him. He gets to hear some form of spirituality get spoken to him. I'm all for it, dog. I'm not knocking that. You dig? Cyberdyne 100 says, not a book written by men. Nature is all around us. Yeah. Cherokee Janae says, without air, sun, fire, trees, animals, etc., the ecosystem, we wouldn't survive. Absolutely. And that's the gist of what I'm saying, man. Like, oh shit, I gotta hit y'all back, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. All right, look, I appreciate y'all. I'll be back next week with more content, more stories, more controversial topics. It's a lot going on out here, man. I gotta touch on. I know I touch on a little bit of everything, man. So shout out to Cherokee, shout out to Cyberdyne, and shout out to Miss Golf Pro. Y'all be good, man. Peace.